Welcome back to the channel, guys, and in today's video we are going to feature a team consisting of Shadow Nidoqueen and Alolan Ninetales. So I think with all the Altarias running around in the meta currently, there really is a place for Alolan Ninetales and Shadow Nidoqueen. It's just probably a stable Pokemon which I'm currently using for a while now. So before we start with the battles, if you are new to the channel and if you like our content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, a big thanks to every one of you. And if you want to join the Battlestar Discord server, the link to that is in the description down below. So the team which we are using today consists of Scrafty in the lead, followed by Shadow Nidoqueen and Alolan Ninetales. So I am currently really liking Fighter Lead because I do feel like anything that counters poison or something like Galarian Stunfisk or any steel type in general is a really good lead. I'd still prefer Medicham over Scrafty though, but Scrafty also has its own decent coverages with something up against like Jellicent, which is also quite common. And with all the stabilized running around, Scrafty definitely is a viable option. So unlike my previous video, I'm using Alolan Ninetales with Charm this time around. And we do have Nidoqueen, which provides raw poison jab damage and poison fang debuff. So if you look at the PV poke rating, the rating is not as good as the other Medicham team, which I made a video on that yesterday, but still I think it offers some decent stats in terms of safety. So that's a plus point. And before any delays, let's start with the battles to see how the battle goes. Picking up a positive lead in the form of this Stunfisk, and the opponent swaps into Pelipper, and I swap into Charm Alolan Ninetales because Charm, as we know, is a really great move. And it may have been a Hurricane, but it's just a Weather Ball. So this matchup is now favorable in favor of Alolan Ninetales, and that's the reason I opt to throw. I did not want to really take another Weather Ball damage, and since the opponent has shielded, maybe I'll mirror the opponent shields. Yeah, definitely that is the way to go, because the reason I shielded that and wanted to maintain switch because Earth Power on Nidoqueen doesn't really KO the Galarian Stunfisk, so definitely that's why I wanted to keep a better matchup up against Scrafty. And Charm along with Weather Ball will do some decent amount of damage, and the opponent throws, which I think was a smart move because this Galarian Stunfisk is already in yellow. And this maybe is FP6 team, they may be running a Venusaur in the back. So if that indeed is a Venusaur, that shield will really come in handy. And they're running Shadow Venusaur, so adding up to a bit of spice there. But this line, this FP6 line has become really common now. So it's really not very difficult to anticipate that. But the opponent will shield the second Poison Fang, and we are almost not able to beat this Venusaur to the next charge move. Maybe even it was a CMP, but we do have a Power Up Punch ready on Scrafty, and we are at decent health. So I probably will not survive another Rock Slide, but we will be able to counter down the Venusaur. And I think if the Galarian Stunfisk must be like just one shot away from a Rock Slide. So yeah, definitely it was a very close one. Good games. Moving on to the next one, picking up an Altaria Lead. So definitely this is not a good lead, and I swapped to Shadow Nidoqueen, and the opponent is staying in, and this probably is not a very good matchup for Altaria. I think it loses in one shield scenario. So but I really would like to I would really like Altaria to swap out of this matchup, because I would want to pair Altaria against the Alolan Ninetales. So they're not swapping out, which is quite okay. Maybe they are running a Azumarill in the back. And if that's the case, it's not really good for our backline. So the Altaria is double debuffed at the moment, and I think the opponent really did a really great job in keeping track of the fast moves. So good so decent overfarm, and they come in with Superior. So this is still a decent matchup for Scrafty, because Superior doesn't really hit as hard as something like Venusaur does. So Frenzy Plant I think will not KO, but if they have a Galarian Stunfisk in the back, that's really going to be a problem for us, and that's why I swap out of that matchup. And they do have a Galarian Stunfisk, so still the game, I still need to play it out very carefully, because Galarian Stunfisk definitely is a problem just for the Alolan Ninetales, and Alolan Ninetales with Charm as such. It's really a problem, and Galarian Stunfisk you'll find this thing everywhere. So I'm keeping my shield intact for Scrafty, because Scrafty really needs to pull all the weight here. I mean, Alolan Ninetales has done some decent damage. So opponent obviously has 2 rock slides, but I don't see a way coming out of this one. I don't see a win condition here probably. So I wanted to farm down the Stunfisk, but the opponent swapped surprisingly, so maybe still there is a win condition if they shield this power up punch. So they shield the power up punch, but they have a Frenzy Plant ready. So I think if we would have gotten to the next power up punch, they go for a Leaf Tornado. So I would say it's a close one, but yeah, the opponent definitely outplayed me on that one. So they have a Medicham lead, so not a good lead for Scrafty, and they come in with Bastiodon. So Bastiodon definitely is not a good answer to Shadow Nidoqueen, because the Smackdowns are resisted. So they shield the Earth Power, so this is fine with me, and at this point my main focus is to win the switch advantage, since I would like to pair Medicham up against the Alolan Ninetales, and maybe this is Medicham double steal. So I definitely need to watch out for a potential Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and they have a Vigoroth. So still this matchup is not yet over, because Vigoroth will be able to leave this matchup with some energy if they do undercharge. So they do not do an undercharge, so this is really good, because Scrafty will just come in, and now I will be able to pair the Medicham up against Alolan Ninetales, and Charms are just chunking away at this thing. So no need to shield this one. I definitely would want to keep shields alive for the Scrafty in the back. So Medicham at this point is almost out of health, so I let go of this charge move, and I come in with Scrafty and farm down the Medicham. But counters have done some decent amount of damage, and the opponent is able to sneak in a counter in between, so that's obviously not good for us. So the opponent does a really smart job on no shielding this, but I did throw a power up punch because I wanted to boost the counter damage, because I think if not boosted, I think we would have been taken out by the counters itself. So questionable play all around, but yeah, yet again good games. Moving on to the next match, picking up a Meganium lead. So Scrafty, I think unless it gets something like a Charm lead, again if it gets something which has Charm or a Zoomrill or a Flyer, I think Scrafty is a very decent lead, and Azumarill, I don't see a lot of Azumarills in the lead nowadays, and the swap into Shadow Nidoqueen draws out their Galarian Stunfisk, and I don't really try to go for a bait, because it's a very risky bait, especially since Galarian Stunfisk outpaces Nidoqueen to the charge move. So they go for a Rock Slide, which is quite good for us. Unfortunately, we will not be able to get to another Rock Slide, another Poison Fang. So they go for a Rock Slide, which does not KO us, but we are able to throw this Poison Fang. But the Galarian Stunfisk will be able to farm some extra energy. But still, the good thing is that we are able to maintain this matchup, and we do have Alolan Ninetales in the back for whatever they have. If it's a Bastiodon, it's definitely GG's for us. But if it's anything else, I think Alolan Ninetales will be able to handle. So I shield this one in the fear of that they have a Bastiodon in the back. So Meganium goes down, and this Galarian Stunfisk will be able to throw this Rock Slide. So yeah, this totally depends on what Pokemon they have in the back, and they throw. So they have this is a Bastiodon indeed. So I'm not really sure why the opponent came in with Galarian Stunfisk and threw the Rock Slide, because this denied them of a potential complete farm down off of the Bastiodon, because at this point the Scrafty is fairly healthy, and I think they just did 5 or 6 smackdowns. So the game is pretty much wrapped up, even with the shield intact on the opponent's part, and I think the opponent definitely did a misplay on throwing the Rock Slide first and then coming in with Bastiodon. So yeah, good games regardless. Moving on to the next one, picking up an amazing lead in the form of the Mew, and in comes the Shadow Drapion, and I come in with Alolan Ninetales. questionable play, but the Drapion has access to Aqua Tail, and I really don't want Shadow Nidoqueen to invest shields in Shadow Nidoqueen so early. So we can survive, or it's a Sludge Bomb. I was saying that it may be a crunch. So GG is Alolan Ninetales, and now we will be able to come in with Scrafty and look to completely farm this thing down. And in comes Medicham. So this is obviously not good for us, because not good for Scrafty, because the opponent has able to flip this matchup. And now after farming some extra energy, I come in with Nidoqueen, and if this Mew has a Surf, I think it's really going to be difficult for us, and I need to keep this Nidoqueen alive, because Nidoqueen will be able to resist everything that Machamp has to throw at us. So bare minimum, I'll be able to throw something like Poison Fang at it. But the good thing is we are able to completely farm down this Mew. And unfortunately, Machamp gets to a charge move. And at this point, I shielded the Nidoqueen because I'm almost at 2 Poison Fangs, and I want to keep this Nidoqueen healthy to do as much poison jab damage. So going for another Poison Fang, this will double debuff the Machamp, and now I think I come in with Scrafty, or I do some decent damage with the Poison Fangs. This forces the opponent to throw a charge move. It's just a cross chop, so I immediately swap to Scrafty and counter down the Shadow Machamp. So yeah, Poison Fang debuff on Shadow Nidoqueen is no joke, and if you have played against it, you definitely would have known that it really tears through something, even if it's neutral to something. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed watching it. Until next time, peace.